Hey, welcome everybody. I'm Travis Cheney. For those of you who don't know me, the CEO of Dynamic Directions. Let me get that right. Um, and so I'm glad to have everybody here today. We've got a dynamic event. We've got some great guest speakers talking about some very relevant and important topics as far as running a successful and turbo growth kind of practice. So welcome everyone. And I want to introduce our first guest. If you see me looking over here, I've got some notes. I'm not that good to remember everything, so I've got everything over here to keep me straight. And so I want to welcome Trey Carruthers with Inclusive Wealth Management. Yeah, Trey, if you want to go ahead and come off mute there. 18-year veteran, wife, 2 daughters, golf. Says here you're a foodie. What does that mean? I know what it means. Why don't you tell everybody in your own terms? What does that mean you're a foodie?
Uh, love to eat, love to try new foods, specifically seafood. So my daughter just enrolled in college on the East Coast, so I'm falling in love with the oyster selection in Baltimore, Maryland right now.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm married to a foodie, and it's always an adventure when we go out. So good for you, my friend. Well, listen, you're having all kinds of great success. I was looking up your reports. You got 36 new clients over the last year. That's up from 16 the year before. Of that 36, 11 of them were high value clients. There's probably another 5 or 6 that are probably going to become high value clients just by the cycle there. So you're on fire with marketing. So I'm glad to have you here, Trey. I want to pick your brain and I want you to share with us just some how you think about marketing, not just like the tactics. We'll get into that, but what was the big difference between maybe where you were a year and a half or 2 years ago to where you are now in the way that you think about marketing?
Yeah, so the major difference was putting someone in a position to where that's their primary focus. So I had a young lady, Kiara Keith, who was working to be an advisor and get licensed, and it didn't work out. And so we transitioned her to full-time marketing, social media, and so that's really been the important part. Of course, my conversations with John Randall, we took advantage of people being on lockdown at the beginning of the of the pandemic, and we were sending out Uber Eats, and people were doing social media posts, and we just got clients from there. And then we started to focus on some niches and really started to hone in there.
Well, I'm going to go back to the first thing you said, though, because I applaud you. You basically, what I heard you say is you made an investment, put
Yes.
someone very specifically in charge of marketing to drive all of this. And I just think, and obviously it's paying dividends with the results.
Mhm.
And I just think that's an excellent move. I think often people want marketing to happen through osmosis or some magician's going to come in, but you got down in it, put some money into it, hired sounds like a qualified person to run all this for you, and the magic's starting to happen is what it sounds like.
Yeah, and she's excited about it. So I don't know if I'm like other advisors. We're financial advisors aren't really natural marketers. And so Kiara is she likes SEO, search engine optimization, and social media and all those things, and campaigns through the CRM. And so she gets excited about that stuff, and I just don't. But I realize how important it is just for the growth, and it shows in the numbers.
Right. So it sounds like you found like someone who's qualified and also has a passion around it.
Exactly.
That's a great combination. Great combination. So let's talk about some of these things around niches. You started, if I heard you correctly, started going after maybe some specific pockets of clients. Tell us about those pockets and why you chose them.
Yeah. So one pocket came from just over time. We've developed a pretty healthy client base of uh, CRNAs, or certified registered nurse anesthetist. And so over time, and they make good money, 150, 200 plus, and rollover opportunities. And so over time, they became a pretty significant component of our practice. So we focus on them, send them special gifts during the month of January, and just fostering their relationship with that group. And then the second was actually came from a marketing idea that we got from John I think I spoke on another event where we did Uber Eats. Client posted it on Facebook. We got a big client from that, and that big client is she's an advocate, and so we just focus. We're really intentional about her, and she's referred us. So some of that 36 new clients is 529 business that she's referred to us, and new planning clients, and so we really focus on making sure that she is happy. I talk to her at least once a month, if not twice a month, via phone, text. So we're really, really staying connected to her.
So yeah, so you found a connector, and communicating with them ongoing is keeping you in front of her, which is bringing her to other people to send to you. I mean, that's how it works.
Mhm.
Is there any other connectors that you've been leveraging more so now than you were prior?
Yeah, we have some. We actually, I do. I had dinner with them last week, and so I have a client that's in the music industry, and they've referred me to two other clients in the music industry. Actually, one of our larger clients, young man, he's about 27, and he already has about 1.4 million with us, and and so he'll refer us, and so we really try to with what I've done with the practice and bringing on the AFA, it allows me to focus on those higher net worth clients and developing those relationships. And what I've had Kiara do is focus on building the brand, the awareness for Winston, who joined us in January. So we've done webinars and kind of things that I did starting off. Webinars, sending out mass emails, trying to generate buzz.
So it sounds like you're doing a blend of virtual and live events now, if I'm hearing you correctly. Or are you
Yes.
still okay?
Yeah, I wouldn't call them events, just dinners. But so yeah, live events. We're getting out in public, shaking hands, eating with people. Yeah, but definitely getting out in public.
So what kind of restaurants you taking these people? Are you trying new things on them? Are you letting them choose? What's going on there?
No, now I have some tried and tested restaurants I'd like to go to. So Capitol Grill is one of my favorites.
Okay.
Uh, and so I have a good relationship with one of the servers over there. He treats us. He knows how to treat us, and so the clients come in and they makes them feel special.
So what do you do on that dinner then, Trey? How do you set that up so the clients know this is a marketing event?
Well, what we'll do is we'll have them invite a guest, and so before we even go, we'll have that guest lined up and say, find out the date that okay, or is your guest is the referee available on said date, and then from there we'll get the person that they're referring, we'll get their information, and then just kind of put everything forward from there. We'll call, send an email to confirm date, time, and then from there, it's really not even marketing. It's more just relationship building. Myself, my wife, the clients, and they've identified you as friends. Of course, we don't talk business, but that's where it usually comes up anyway. But that's usually where the relationship goes, and we just build it from there.
I like what you're saying there because you're echoing, I think, what a lot of other people have had success with is just go make a friend.
Mhm.
If business comes up, which it always does, make sure you're not the one who brings it up. Let them bring it up, right? And then what's the follow up like? How do you set up with the guests that you're going to be following up with them?
So we'll usually so if we do it on the weekend or Thursday, we'll follow up that next day with an email and then a phone call. And so I had an introductory lunch Friday where I sent the email yesterday. And if I don't hear back directly from the person, then I'll call on tomorrow. So we have a template email that we send out to
Okay.
referees, introduct those that we're introduced to, and then we'll follow up with phone calls.
And how much of the planning do you do on this versus Kiera?
For the dinners, I'm a little bit more involved with the dinners because of the intimacy of it. A lot of the things I described earlier, though, as far as the webinars, the social media, the branding, I'm involved 5% or less. And if Kiara told you, she'd probably say I'm involved. I'm still involved too much. So
Well, that's all right. That's
Yeah,
right. She wants to do her job. She wants to get you to get maximum leverage.
understood.
So when you are involved in that little sliver there, what is your involvement when it comes to, we call it digital marketing,
Mhm.
um, falling under there. What is your involvement?
It's more just around themes or general directions. So Kiara does a good job of researching like Hispanic Heritage Month or Breast Cancer Awareness Month, things of that nature. But at the beginning of the year, I said, okay, I want to focus on the staff. So let's focus on you. Let's focus on Louisa. Let's focus on Winston. So just big picture themes that I may want to implement or run for a season. But and then she'll stay on top of the general campaigning until we do something special or specific. So one of the things we're looking to do going into next year, though, is more video messaging. I've talked to John about that, and because as the practice has grown and we start to transition clients, um, I may not be working directly one-on-one with everyone, but we want to continue to have that message, that relationship. That way they're hearing from me on a particular topic. It may be a market forecast. We'll just have to work through that.
Okay, so that's the next wave for you.
Mhm.
So as we kind of conclude your portion here, Trey, what would you tell your colleagues out here? What's the best advice you could give them about client acquisition?
You said the word invest in it. So hiring someone to do something that I wasn't good at was the best thing I could have done. It's that simple. So the investment in it, paying for it. Oftentimes, when companies go through struggling times, and that's any corporation, small or big, the first thing that they cut is marketing. But that's actually the last thing you should cut. We should be looking for growth at all times, and marketing is important, and it's very subtle. So one thing I think the mistake that advisors make is looking for an immediate return on investment. But really, what that ongoing marketing does is it builds brand awareness, it builds public credibility, and it just deepens the relationships. When clients continue to see your face and the message and all those things, they know that you're still in business, you're still looking for clients, you're still concerned about what's going on in the markets and everything that comes with it. So I would just say stick with it, build out a calendar, build out events, and just implement them. If you struggle with implementation, hire someone to implement them. Or send me an email, and I'm pretty sure Kiara will probably tell you she can help. She can help implement some things as well.
Well, Trey, I appreciate it. I love your enthusiasm. Love what you're doing there as it relates to great message. Invest in your business. Also, don't just think short term, because when you make an investment like this, especially when you're branding your practice, it takes a while to brand it, and so you're now getting all those benefits of all this investment you've made. So congratulations to you, my friend. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes. So the next segment I want to talk about, I'm going to switch my notes here as you see me turning here, is let's talk a little bit about culture. As we go into business planning, oftentimes we think in terms of marketing. And by the way, that was a great interview to have Trey on. Love his enthusiasm, and as part of culture is making an investment. And so he's making investment in marketing. So that's a great message for everybody on here. The other thing is he's taking action. He's not waiting, he's doing. Whether it's something live, virtual, it's these dinners, it's these lunches. Marketing is a contact sport, and you got to make contact to make it work. But on the culture, I think it's really important we talk about some best practices for that. And so, simply put, culture, what is that? It's the elements such as your values, your beliefs, your behaviors, your goals, your philosophies, your attitudes. It's who you are in the workplace. So in your absence, so for example, I'm in Nashville today, and we've got coaches strung out all across the United States. We've got our home office back in Owensboro. When I'm not there, these are our culture. These values and philosophies are what my team adheres to in my absence. It's who they're going to be, not what they're going to do, but it is what they're going to do, but how they're going to do it in relation to this culture. And so to me, this is very critical. And for us, values like results, values like excellence, serving, education, innovation, integrity, those are what make up dynamic directions. And so you really need to define these in your practice, but you just can't define them. I've been in offices where I've seen the values up on the wall or a mission statement or a vision, and I'll ask the person who's the receptionist, I'll say, well, hey, tell me about those values. And more times than not, I'll say, well, you can read there. I'm being a sarcastic here. You can read them, right? Yeah, I can read them, but tell me what what do they mean to you? I really don't know. We talked about them when I first started here, but really haven't had much discussion. And that breaks me inside because culture is not just about having these values or these vision statement or mission statement or goals. We got to bring them to life. And as a leader in the business, you need to do that. And by the way, the leader is just not the owner. It can be anybody. So you got to define what is your culture. And then the other thing I'm going to throw in there is something we talk a lot about in our culture is vitamin U. Vitamin U is urgency. One of the things that every business needs is urgency. We can't just get stuff done. We got to get it done in a timely manner. We're in a reactive service business a lot of time. We're also in a proactive business as far as the way we serve. But we always got to have these deadlines. We got to exceed and meet these deadlines in order really to satisfy people because we're in a service business. It's all about our advice. It's all about how we serve people. So I always want to stress have vitamin U in your culture. Attitude is very important in your culture. You know, for those of you, and I see some people on here who answer when I call or they've seen me in a coaching call and people say, hey, how you doing, Travis? What do I say? Right? Katie's mimicking. I'm bullish. I'm bullish on life. It's a bullish day in the neighborhood. I have all these little probably quirky quotes. And why do I say that? Because I say that selfishly to remind me I need to have a positive attitude. Because I know as a leader, I'm impacting this group today. I've been on several coaching calls. If I come in with a bearish attitude or I don't have much energy, that's what you guys are going to feed off of. So when I'm telling people it's a bullish day in the neighborhood or I'm feeling bullish, I'm really reminding myself I've got to have a positive attitude. And so you got to think about that. What's your attitude like? If it were for sale, would somebody buy it? And if so, how much would they pay for it? But that's how I think you need to come to work every day is check your attitude with is if it was for sale, would someone buy it? Is it that good? But that's really important that you think about attitude and how that fits in your culture. So let's talk a little bit about tactics and culture. Oftentimes, as a coach, I'll hear about there's a problem with a new employee. And usually, if there's a problem with a new employee, this is what happened. They didn't pass the culture test. They probably passed the technical test, the skill test, but there was no test to see are they going to fit in our organization? Are they going to be service oriented? Are they going to be striving for excellence? Is it about results? Do they have vitamin U? So when you're hiring, it's very important that the first conversation you have with people is around your culture. Because I don't care how good they are on a tactical level, if they don't possess these values, these core values, these beliefs, these philosophies that you share, they're not going to last very long. Or if you let them last, it's going to create a lot of toxicity. So it's very important that you have these. The other reason on a tactical level is your team. I'm very proud of the team that we've built. We have a lot of fun. We work hard and we play hard. But it's been interesting. We have a new team member, Amy, and I met with her maybe 3 days onto the job, and she made me feel really good. Because here's what she said. She pointed. We have a values card, like the Ritz-Carlton Credo card. She said, "I want you to know all your team members are living these values." And she cited examples where she had interactions with team members and was telling me how they were living the values. I was like ecstatic because as a leader, I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell Ben, hey, make sure you act within the values today. Katie, make sure. I didn't tell anybody that, yet it was happening. And I had someone new to our team come in and validate that. So you've got in a team environment, in my absence, remember I said this, in your absence as a leader, you want people following through on these philosophies. It's who you want them to be. And so that was very warming. And so I know that when we hire, or even when we hire new clients, because that's the way we look at this, it's a due diligence process. You're hiring us, we're hiring you. We look for cultural fit, because if they're not going to fit in our culture, they're not going to be a success. So those are a couple things around culture, just on think about hiring. And then within the team, people want to say, well, how do you measure it? Well, I just gave you a measurement. Amy, brand new employee, not even exposed to our company, in there 3 days, and is telling me how we're living the values. Love that. However, here's some other things and best practices I think you should do. I think on a regular basis, you should be having your discussion with your team and asking them, how do they live the values? I know in our discussions, there's times when I talk about, and my team talks about, actually when we stepped on those values. And we use that as a lesson or a learning from, I didn't get results, or I didn't perform at an excellence level. So you really got to create dialogue where on a continual basis, you're asking people, how are they living the values? Also, I'm always asking for my team to look for other people, other team members, and call them out. Hey, yeah, I saw Sherry. She was doing this the other day, living the values. Or I saw Mike Brink. So I'm having my team look, and you can do the same thing. You need to create also some awareness. One of the things I try to do as a leader is in meetings, I talk about the values. I try to weave that into whatever project or discussion we're having, where I want to give praise or recognition. So it's very important that we just don't take something that's on the wall and say, oh, what does that mean? Those are some nice fancy words. We need to breathe. We need to live. We need to be these values. We need to be that culture, so that you can carry out whatever mission and vision and goals in a way that the company is going in the direction and the way you want it. So it's just really important. So I'll stop for a minute about culture, and I'll take any questions around culture on what I just covered. Does anybody have any questions on that? If you want, you can raise your hand, and then you can unmute. The silence. Oh, no. No questions. Everybody's nodding. Oh, I got it, Travis. Absolutely. Thank you. All right. So culture, define it, make sure you're living it, and make sure you're measuring it in ways that there's ongoing discussions. And as a leader, incorporate the language of the culture in that, in everything that you do as much as possible, especially with your team. So with that said, I'm going to kick it over, I think, to Katie and Alana, and they're going to talk about some best practices. Hey, Trey, you may want to listen up on this one if you're still on. They're going to talk a little bit about some of that video you were talking about. So Katie, Alana, take it away.
Sure. So thanks for having us here. So today we're going to kind of share some best practices around digital marketing. And Alana is a private wealth advisor in Naples, Florida, with Sienna Wealth Advisory Group. And she's just killing it in the digital marketing world. So Alana, there's a lot of different things around driving engagement. What are some best practices you have around driving more interactions? So like your likes and comments to your social media pages.
Okay, great question, Katie. And I think number one for that is make sure you're putting out good content that people care about and want to engage with, because you can't expect, if you're just putting out the same cookie cutter content as everyone else, that people are suddenly going to be all excited and comment on it. So number one is have good content, which from a basic level to me is one, you could look for posting articles that you find on your own that are relevant to your audience. So maybe they like travel, cooking, etc. So something a little bit more targeted towards your audience. That's, the minimum level. You could start doing that. And then we talk about more original content. So it could be as simple as photos of what your team's doing, pictures of your team, pictures of your family, your kids, your puppy. I don't have kids, but people love my puppy. Dogs are always good. And then video content. So just creating more engaging content. And then once you have that content out there, number one, on Facebook, Facebook is a business, so I boost all my posts, so I pay to get more engagement. Not a lot. Really, I usually pay $20 per post. And you can kind of play around with that depending on what you're putting out there, how much you want to spend, and see what you get out of it. But I do boost my posts to get more engagement. Also, tagging people in your posts. And again, engaging content, asking people to share it. If there's pictures of other people, things that they can share, more people will see them.
I think that's really great. I mean, obviously, custom content is what drives most engagement and most interactions, and anything with the facial recognition on a photo really helps those Facebook algorithms there. And tagging the photos, I think, is key. Sometimes we forget if we, schedule some of these in advance, the advisor or the staff member might forget that tagging those photos of those clients or those team members really helps, boost them in the newsfeed for other people. So great advice. What are some of the things that you personally do to interact with others on social media?
I mean, I think it's important to stay active, just like we check our emails probably too much. Also, just making sure that you get your notifications to your phone helps. That's what I do, but making sure that I'm engaging with my network. So if someone, for example, likes something that I post or comments on it, I'm going to respond immediately. Bare minimum, I'm going to like their comment, but I'm going to engage with them, and then just staying active. So commenting and liking other people's posts, and also just
Mhm.
seeing what people are doing, what my clients are doing, what COIs in my community are doing, and then maybe reaching out to them depending on what I see.
Mhm. And I assume you're doing this on LinkedIn also.
Yes. Yeah, LinkedIn and Facebook. Absolutely. I have notifications on both. And I'm always, usually I'll check LinkedIn and every day, Facebook. I mean, I think a lot of people would say they're already on Facebook every day. So they might as well just use it and look for those cues about what's going on, and opportunities to engage and see what's going on in your clients' lives, with their families, and engage on a deeper level with them.
Mhm. And I think sometimes, people don't realize that on LinkedIn, at least, you can filter by certain companies or certain niches to even just wanting to interact with those people and look at what they're posting as opposed to trying to find somebody individually.
Definitely.
So,
And even, filtering from most recent posts too, because
uh-huh.
sometimes, again, LinkedIn will just keep serving you the same people over and over again. So make sure you're
Mhm.
looking at most recent so you can just stay on top of what everyone's doing. I find that helpful.
Yeah, definitely. So, do you have any success stories that you can share around this?
Yeah, I was thinking about some good ones to share, Katie. And one regarding LinkedIn actually is that when we were new to the Naples area, I just started reaching out to COIs in the community because I knew nobody,
Mhm.
and asking them to connect, meet up with, have coffee maybe with them. And I ended up starting a professional alliance with an accountant who's referred, I think I have about 15 million in AUM that she's referred to me since we started that relationship, and we refer back and forth now. So that was a really great opportunity to connect on LinkedIn. And in fact, as I was saying this, I said, great time to do it now, coming back after COVID, let's reconnect. So I'm
Mhm.
definitely going to work that into my marketing plan for next year to reach out to more COIs. But then,
Mhm.
on Facebook, it's just remembering to, if you have a personal page that you're engaging and connecting with everyone on Facebook too. So even though I might not be posting business content, I'm still going to connect with prospects, COIs, clients, and then invite them to like my page. And that way too,
Mhm.
we've connected with prospects. They've sent us messages, hey, can we meet? Because they're just seeing everything that we're doing so much.
Mhm. Yeah. And they just really, I mean, they want to see what you're up to also and see what you're doing in your personal life. So that's great.
They do.
So now on to videos,
Okay.
which we know you're doing tons of them. Why did you start creating videos?
We always did a few videos, Katie, over the years, but
Hmm.
definitely when COVID hit us last year, we knew that we just had to give our clients more video virtual content because we couldn't see them in person as much anymore. We couldn't do in-person events. So a great way to scale that, right, is doing webinars and video. So that's when we really started doing a lot of video. I started doing with our team from home video interviews last year, just on different
Mhm.
topics. You know, I would interview different team members about relevant topics, and we've continued to do videos this year. But again, it's a great way to connect with people, for them to see your personality. And I think too, people expect that now on LinkedIn
Mhm.
and Facebook, and even you can email out the videos. So people expect to see that kind of content when they're looking up someone. And you know, it'll get more engagement. Articles, links to articles are really just not going to cut it for engaging content.
Mhm. Yeah, we're really trying to fight for the attention of the viewer these days. And the more video content you have, the more attention that they might spend, on your page or on that video. So what are some of the things that you've seen happen since you've started sharing some more video content?
Well, I've definitely noticed that people are sharing my video content more, either on social media or through email. So definitely see more engagement with the video, just because, I mean, even today, it was funny. The person who manages the building that our office is in said, "Oh my gosh, Alana, I just saw your video today." Because I had one that I posted today on our website
Mhm.
and our Facebook, and she saw it. So just getting more engagement like that, people will say, "Oh my, I saw your video. That was really great." But then again, more people have shared on Facebook, which is great for engagement, right? People sharing your content. And then also, it's a great tool to have and be able to email out to maybe to prospects or COIs for specific situations. So I did a video a few months ago, "Are you ready to retire?" So, I mean, that's a really great topic to have a video on. And anytime I talk to a prospect or again, a COI who I think that would be helpful for, I can follow it up then with a video, and then they get to see me too in person again.
Mhm. That's awesome. And it's not always just the engagement that you're seeing on Facebook that, you're getting a couple likes or a couple comments. It's really, you're getting a text here and there. Like you said, somebody from the building came out, "Hey, I saw your video." It's
Mhm.
things like that we hear from other advisors too that are more successful for them actually. So can you share a few tips on creating scripts, filming, and the typical approval process? Because I know that's the biggest question that advisors have and the biggest roadblock on them creating more of these videos.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Well, and it does have a learning curve, at least for me when I was first starting out doing this. So I know that there are some pre-approved video scripts out there already that advisors
Mhm.
can use. So you could use, I think there's 10. So you could use those scripts. You still have to get your video approved, but at least the script's done. What I've done though, when I started out was I would just look up articles that were already approved on a topic that I wanted to do the video on, and then I just kind of rework them to just sound more like me, or frame it as an interview when I was interviewing other advisors on our team. So it's really easy if you start with something already approved, and then you can personalize it. And again, your audience doesn't know that this is something that you didn't necessarily originally write yourself. So I normally
Mhm.
say, again, it depends on for most advisors, I know the approval time is 5 days, right? That you have to wait when you submit something. So
Mhm.
I usually would give it like a 2-week window, honestly, from submission to final approval. Because if
Mhm.
I submit my script, they approve it in 5 days. Then I have to record my video, edit it, and I send it back to compliance to review a final time. So I would, yeah, 2 to 3 weeks, honestly. You can rush things, or depending on
Mhm.
your level at the company or status, you could get it quicker. But I would say that my greatest tips are find something approved and stick to the script, okay? Because there is nothing worse. I did a few interviews with advisors who did not stick to the script that I wrote for them, and then compliance makes you change more things. So,
Mhm.
we all love to be off the cuff, and you could be off the cuff with anything that's not to do with financial topics. So, your
Right.
personality, things like that, you could be yourself. But when it comes to the facts that we're talking about or the content, the advice, stick to the script. And also if you get, write a few at once is also helpful. Get a few done at one time. And then you don't need to go crazy with the editing. You basically just need to add a title card for yourself, and then disclosures at the end, which I know a lot of people do through iMovie. I used a different program, but there's simple, I didn't know what I was doing and I figured it out. So there's simple ways you could do it, or find someone who could do it on your team.
Those are great tips. And, it is a great way to start just getting practice with some of these pre-approved scripts. It doesn't mean that you have to use that in the future, but practice makes perfect and you got to
Mhm.
start somewhere. So start filming and start getting comfortable, checking out your backgrounds, your lighting, your sound. Do you have any, tips around that, like your lighting and your sound for videos?
Oh yeah. Well, Katie, since COVID started, I purchased a ring light that I use daily. I need good lighting at all times, even when I'm not recording a video. Okay. So right now, the ring light's on. So very important to have a good camera, which I received from one of our wholesale partners, sent me a camera. So maybe ask around for one of those. I also have a microphone here for good
Uh-huh.
audio. So definitely like a little setup like that is very helpful. You don't have to spend a lot to do it. I mean, my ring
Mhm.
light was like $40 to
Mhm.
use. So yeah, that's really important, just to have a little setup. And even, I mean, we're all doing video meetings now too. You don't want to be in the dark when you're talking to
Mhm.
clients anyways. So some of this is nice to have in your office regardless.
Mhm. Awesome. So what's next for you? Any new things in the digital world that you're kind of looking forward to and starting to work towards implementing?
Yeah, I'm really excited about the new landing pages that were just approved. So,
Mhm.
what we're working on for next year really is just developing content around the landing pages. And really what the landing pages allow you to do is what I think a lot of us want, is that social media is great, but there's really no way, given our current system, to track, right, who's liking what and clicking what. But the landing page allows us to actually capture leads when they click on something, enter their information. So I'm just working on putting together engaging content that I can drive to my target to get more um prospects, pretty much, to get more engagement, so and collect more information. So I'm really
Mhm.
excited about
It-
that.
Yeah, I mean, they're great and they're pretty easy to set up if you just want to use the standard Ameriprise, material. But I think it's key to really customize this if you want to capture the right leads for you. So that's great. And if anybody has any questions on the landing pages, we're happy to, help you out with that afterwards. Um, Now, the last thing I wanted to ask you was how much time do you commit to digital marketing each week? And do you work with anybody who helps you with this?
Yes, so I do. So I'm on a team, and I actually, for years, I did do our digital marketing, all of our social media myself. But I have recently hired an intern to help out and create the content. I'm still pushing it out there, but she's helping to create all of the content, and I trained her on how to do that. So, if you're
Mhm.
on a team, like Trey was talking about too, he found someone great, right? Who likes to do this, who's good at it. So look for that person. You may already have someone who enjoys it and is good at that, and train them to be able to make this content for you. And if not, if you're solo or if you don't have someone, then you need to hire someone to do that, whether it's an intern or it's you guys at Dynamic Directions, the D2DM program, to help run it for you. And I would say,
Mhm.
again, on a basic level, Katie, if we're just talking the basics, what we do is we always create a content calendar, 6 to 8 weeks of content ahead of time. Maybe that takes an
Mhm.
hour of time to create that. And then we schedule out all the posts. And then probably twice a week, I have a reminder to go in and we just boost the posts. And I
Mhm.
mean, always getting alerts on my phone, which doesn't take much time. So maybe 1 to 2 hours a week. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
that much, but it that's a good amount of time, I think, to spend doing that. But again, the more custom you want to get, the more time it may take. So when we have events or we're doing videos, I need more content created, then it'll take a little bit more time. And that's why I think having a team member of some kind help you is a great resource, because we all know we don't have a ton of time to spend on this.
Mhm. And I think one of the other things I would mention is really holding yourself accountable. So I think you're probably pretty strict on making sure that you have these things in line and getting these scheduled because you know the benefits of it.
Mhm.
So really holding yourself accountable, adding something into your calendar, whether this be like every morning for 5 to 10 minutes, you're checking LinkedIn, commenting on a few things, you're done for the day. And then on Fridays, you're scheduling things out or creating custom posts and things like that, would really make it most successful for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I calendarize everything. I think a lot of us do. How else would we run our practices? So this is one of those things too that yeah, I calendarize it also, just little reminders.
Mhm. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you on here today. I love all the tips. And does anybody have any questions for Alana? Like Travis said, you can raise your hand or you can just take yourself off mute.
Alana, I have a
Oh,
question. Oh, go ahead. You want Judson?
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. I hadn't heard anything about the landing page, and so maybe that's just something I need to go looking at. But if you don't mind, just a second more about landing page. I mean, is that only for PWA, or is that for everybody, or?
For everybody. It's brand new. So that might be why, literally, right, Katie, within the last month or
Yeah.
so. So it's brand new. You could look it up on Compass. They have some information, but I know, Katie, you guys could help with that too.
Mhm. Yep. Yeah, so you can look this up on Compass or go into your website editor tool. There is already a tab that says landing pages, but essentially what it is, it's a custom URL for your website, but it automatically would connect somebody to either request a consultation or sign up for your newsletter. And those tabs are already on your website now. However, it could take a little while for somebody to find it. So you can easily use social media to use that URL and have somebody sign up for a newsletter there. Use it for referrals, telling your clients that here you can use this if you want your client to sign up for a consultation. Here's that. Or if you're really into kind of SEO search or Google Ads, you can use this for a Google Ads, and it would be awesome for that.
Fantastic. That's great. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that reason why we're on top of that is we have a great relationship with Ameriprise Corporate. They support a lot of what we do because we help them with the resources. So we've known about landing pages for a while, and so when it launched, we were ready to go with that because we were kind of part of the discussion on how that would work. So, but Alana, I was going to ask you a question, and then oh. What about videos, fun videos? The videos of just the non-business stuff that don't need to be approved. How
Yes.
much are you and Joe doing of that? And how do you decide about what you're going to do on that?
Yeah, that's a great question. Joe does a lot more of that than me, honestly, because he's very comfortable sharing a lot on Facebook, which you may or may not know. But I think that definitely sharing the personal stuff, more fun stuff that you're doing is great to mix in. At least if we're doing videos, at least twice a month, I would mix in stuff like that. So it could be anything. Again, Joe does a lot of fitness, travel stuff that he likes to share videos about, and that you don't need any approval for. So even if you wanted to come up with something with your team that you like to do, like a once a week thing that doesn't require approval, I think that's a great piece to mix in. Because again, the videos are about personality. So show your personality, whatever level you're comfortable with, but it allows people to get to know you on a way different level than just an article or a static photo even.
Yeah, for those of you who don't
Mhm.
know, she's mentioning Joe DeSena. That's her business partner, and
Yes,
Joe hasn't met a camera he doesn't like.
exactly. He loves the personal video. So I let him handle
Right.
that for the most part. But he's always posting different videos, motivational videos, but a lot of fitness and travel stuff too that he enjoys to do. And again, Facebook is lifestyle. So Facebook is a great place to do that because that's what people are used to seeing. It's not weird. So don't feel weird about it because that's what they're used to seeing when they go on Facebook. Most people aren't looking for like stock tips on Facebook, okay? That's not what they want.
Mhm.
Right. So Trey, with your foodieism here, I could see some some videos in your near future of, trying
Yeah.
something new, giving a review of a restaurant.
Yeah, that's actually
talking
a
about
great idea
experience.
that Joe and I had, Trey, that you should, since if you like food, that's what you should do is, especially with COVID and a lot of the restaurants struggling, like trying out different restaurants in town and just doing a quick video of yourself there trying a dish or meeting the chef, you know.
Great idea.
So
My wife
there
would
you
love
go.
that. Yeah.
Hey, maybe we video her.
Yeah.
So,
Perfect.
Alana, thank you. And Katie, listen, here's my message about digital marketing. People say, well, geez, the game has changed. Marketing hasn't changed, folks. How you market as far as the platform is changing. And guess what? It ain't done yet. In other words, it is going to continue to move in this direction. So here's the question going into 2022 you need to answer for yourself. Do you want to be a relic or do you want to be relevant? And in this day and age, if you want to be relevant as a financial professional, everything Trey was talking about, he's doing in his office around digital branding, what Katie and Alana just talked about in utilizing these platforms, that is how you are relevant. The more you resist this, the less you get involved. You might as well get a statue of you next to a dinosaur and put that on your desk because that's where you're heading on this. So embrace it. Embrace it. So thank you all today for some great best practices. Listen, we're actually, speaking of live events, we have over, I think 105 or 106 people now going to join us here in Nashville in a couple weeks on November, what date is it? 3rd?
Third.
November 3rd, yes. And we're going to do a whole day of best practices, panels on marketing, financial planning, mergers, acquisitions, culture. People are going to bring their business plans and marketing plans. There's going to be a lot of networking, going to be a lot of fun. The D2 band is going to be back playing and might even have a karaoke contest after. So we're gonna have a lot of great fun. So we still have a few spots open if you want to come to that. Be a great way to there again, learn some best practices, network. I tell people all the time, one of these days I'm going to do this for an event. And if you don't drink, that's fine. I think I'm just going to rent out a bar and just let people talk and just have drinks, food all day, because really that's what these events are about. It's about pulling you together. It's about being a part of the D2 community, leveraging, your skills, hey, I've got a best practice. Oh, hey, I've got a gap. Can you help me with it? That's what we do at these events. So if you're interested, let us know. We still have time to get you there. But what a great show. Thank you, Trey. I'm expecting a lot. I don't know what your foodie segment's going to be called, but if you need some help naming it, we can help you. Katie, Alana, thank you so much for what you talked about on digital marketing. Take what I said about culture, right? Culture is paramount going into business planning. We really need to define it, but more importantly, you need to live it. You need to see how other people are living it and measuring it. So with that said, it's been great being here. Have a great and fantastic week and be bullish on life because I know you'll win big. Thank you.